PTF and Mikee P back here with you on the In the Money Media YouTube channel for our preview of the Holy Bull Stakes. Typical statement from a racing pundit on a race like this, Mikey, is short on numbers, but long on quality. Some interesting horses in here. We're going to go through them one by one. I'll start off by asking you about Kinetic Control, this recent maiden winner in here. Curious to see if you think this horse is going to be able to compete at this level.
This horse has to class up, but Dale Roman's very hot. 3 wins over the weekend, so barn going extremely well. This horse passed the 2-turn test at Churchill with speed. I do think speed at Gulfstream is an advantage, but this isn't an easy race.
No doubt about it. Ferocious is a horse who was on just about everybody's Derby radar with that big figure win at Saratoga. On one hand, he's disappointed since in that he hasn't won and he hasn't matched that figure. But maybe it's a bit churlish to question one that finished second in 2 grade ones and then had a bad trip against the flow of things in the juvenile. Can he rebound?
He can, but if you watch that juvenile replay, and I did that before setting up for this video, it's such an odd trip. The horse races in spots all the time. Was basically shuffled back to last in the juvenile and then flew to be 5th late. So he's really hard to figure out. If he does get his talent to match some of the efforts, I do think that this horse could be a player on the Derby Trail, but just really tough to figure, and his price will be short.
Tappin Street is the number 3, another $1 million baby like Ferocious. This one for me, one of the key factors, I've got a notion on him that doesn't appear in your past performances. Going back at the last race and looking at the run backs, most of those horses have improved their figures, some significantly. I'm going to go out and say I think that published figure of 84 is low and could be higher than that. This is a horse I think has a very high ceiling. Am I overrating Tappin Street?
I don't think so. I do like this horse in this race. A couple of those horses out of that race came back to win over the weekend. Jimmy's Dailies, Solid Left, both won maiden races at Gulfstream on Saturday and Sunday. And if you watch this replay, this horse, it seemed like it took a minute for him to figure out what he needed to do. As soon as he did, he took off in the stretch and really looked the part. He was a $1 million baby, and Saez sticks here. He had choices in the race.
That's a very good point, including ones who would also be fancied in the spot. Let's talk about Guns Loaded, the big favorite in the Mucho Macho Man, the first race in this series. Got the job done there, but got the job done with a very easy trip. This is a horse that needs to be talked about in any preview. If we were talking about 3 horses in the race, he would be one that we'd have to talk about having won the local prep. But I just worry that others might have more upside. Am I underrating him?
I'm not sure. I mean, he's one that I think could take a step forward. He's certainly proven that he's speedy, that he's capable, but now 2-turn test, he's going to have to improve. He was getting tired late. They were getting to him, and that Mucho Macho Man could have it a little easier on the front here, but there's talent behind him.
And those stretch out sprinters, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out for him. Number 5, Hes Not Joking. This is a grade 3 winner, so belongs in the conversation on that basis alone. Josie Carroll, a trainer I respect tremendously. The dirt debut, a bit of a debacle, but it came with a trip. How forgiving do you want to be about giving Hes Not Joking another chance on America's traditional surface, the dirt?
Well, the connections are giving this one another chance. That gray stake up at Woodbine is traditionally one of the best preps for 3-year-olds, and a lot of those horses can find their way into Derby conversations. They shipped here. They'll try the dirt again. This horse showed rally and a decent figure back in that gray stakes back in November at Woodbine. So I'd be curious to give this horse another chance. I think the practical joke, maybe the 2 turns might not be what this horse wants to do, but we'll see. I mean, certainly he is in the race.
And has the right hands to be considered, especially if sneaks away at a price based on that class angle. If nothing else, curious to see how they're going to bet this when we do it before. Brian Nato has made his excellent educated guesses as to the morning line. Number 6 is Burning Glory, horse that won the maiden last time out with an okay speed figure. I thought the horse had a setup. Bill Mott, one of my favorite trainers, I think this is a starting point for this horse. So I don't think we're going to see his best. And I think he might need his best to meet some of the ones that are as fancied as some of these. But then again, in good hands, horse with upside. and going to maybe be a price. I don't want to be too negative. Where do you stand with Burning Glory?
I do think this horse rates a chance in this race to hit the board. I'm not sure that I like on the win end, but he's improved every race. And like you said, it's a typical Mott progression type. That 2-turn race at Churchill was solid, had the outside post there, 10 out of 11, ended up rallying to be second, and then was able to break the maiden on December 1st. So I do think has possibilities, is in the right hands, is certainly well bred. And Tyler Gaffalione riding incredibly right now.
Yeah, that's a great note, too, on the good stuff and the good work that he's been doing down there. Number 7, Burnham Square, turned heads with that maiden winner at Gulfstream late last year. Ian Wilkes, known for bringing horses along slowly, continuing that stair-step improvement, pro punter Mike Maloney calls it. So I wouldn't think that's a negative. I just think this horse, he's heading in the right direction. He's won over the course and distance. He should be a price. This is one that I definitely want on my radar heading into this Holy Bull Stakes. Maybe a little bit like you said with Burning Glory, maybe more likely for underneath, but one I think I want to have for a penny on top as well. What do you think about the 7th runner in the field?
Yeah, definitely. Again, with a trainer that likes to bring horses along, like you mentioned, that race back on December 28th at Gulfstream was fantastic and hit the stretch and just blew that field away. Was a different style too. The horse had been coming from behind, ended up very close early and made an early move. This horse is very interesting. I do think that rates a chance versus these horses. And, there's some question marks on some of them in here. Ferocious is a question mark. Tappin Street is a question mark. Guns Loaded, not sure about the distance. This horse, I do think wants the distance, is in the right hands, and is probably going to continue to improve.
Let's let our viewers know that this video is brought to you by our friends at expressbet.com. They have a robust program of handicapping tournaments. It continues this Saturday, Holy Bull Day, with their NHC qualifier, $1,500, seats and cash on the line. Go to expressbet.com/tournaments to learn more about it. Mikey P, it is time for the rubber to meet the road. Who's your selection in this year's Holy Bull?
I'm going to go Tappin Street. I do think that this horse has upside. It's Brad Cox. I like the maiden win. I like the fact that Saez stays here. I think that the stretch out, the improvement is coming. There's some questions with the other ones. I would be fading Ferocious in this spot. I know you like that one, but he's going to have to prove it to me. So Tappin Street in the Holy Bull.
Will be Oppo here. My official selection will be Ferocious, a horse I have in my Derby top 10 list. If I've got him there, I'm supposed to pick him here. Look, I'm not interested in odds on, but if this horse is a backable favorite, which I assume he could be given the other competition, he's the one I'm with. I certainly respect Tappin Street. I'm not going to challenge you head to head because I like that one a little bit too much. And then my other idea in the race, Burnham Square, the 7 runner to be somewhere. Love those 3 to maybe make up your exacta. I'll probably key Ferocious with the other 2. Hopefully we can get the money in this year's Holy Bull Stakes. Reminder one more time, make sure you subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our exclusive YouTube content like the top 10 video that will be popping up in this space soon with Jonathan Kinchin and myself.